If you are growing a container garden on a tiny urban balcony, you are just a few feet away from where you eat, relax, and breathe. The absolute last thing you want to do is spray toxic chemical pesticides into your enclosed airspace to fight off mosquitoes, aphids, or hornworms. But what if you never had to buy a bottle of bug spray again? Welcome back. Today, we are turning your balcony into a literal botanical fortress. Using the science-backed practice of companion planting, you can naturally repel the pests that ruin your summer evenings and destroy your crops. These 15 plants act as ruthless living bodyguards. Some mask the scent of your vegetables, others paralyze insect receptors, and some act as deadly sticky traps. Stick around for our number 1 spot, where I'll reveal a common patio flower that actively engages in underground chemical warfare to eradicate invisible parasites. If you're ready to protect your balcony organically, let's dive in at number 15. At number 15 is lemongrass, the ultimate architectural defense against the most frustrating pest of the urban summer, the mosquito. When you are trying to enjoy a quiet evening barbecue on your balcony, a swarm of mosquitoes can force you back inside in minutes. Most people resort to burning chemical coils or spraying sticky repellents on their skin. Lemongrass offers a spectacular, living alternative, standing guard at the edge of your patio and actively pushing biting insects away from your seating area. The repelling power of lemongrass is not just an old wives' tale, it is deeply rooted in botanical chemistry. The plant contains exceptionally high concentrations of citronella oil. According to research published in the Journal of Vector Ecology, citronella works by masking the specific chemical attractants, namely lactic acid and carbon dioxide, that humans naturally exhale and sweat out. By constantly releasing these volatile masking compounds into the air around your balcony, the plant effectively scrambles the mosquito's sensory radar, making you practically invisible to them. Because lemongrass is a fast-growing, clumping grass, it is absolutely perfect for container gardening. It thrives in a heavy 5 to 10-gallon pot placed in a bright, sunny corner of your balcony. Growing up to 4 feet tall, it creates a striking, modern, vertical accent. When the wind blows through the tall, arching blades, it naturally diffuses that lemon-scented citronella oil directly into your seating area, creating a continuous invisible shield without taking up massive amounts of floor space. Beyond its scientifically proven ability to protect your skin, this plant offers incredible culinary value. You can snip the thick, aromatic stalks right off your balcony to infuse authentic, citrusy flavor into your homemade Thai curries and marinades, making it a highly productive, dual-purpose bodyguard. At number 14, we have lavender, a plant universally loved by humans for its calming fragrance, but absolutely despised by a wide array of destructive urban pests. While balcony gardeners often struggle with infestations of clothes, moths, fleas, and fungus gnats rising from damp potting soil, lavender acts as a broad-spectrum botanical deterrent. It proves that a pest control plant does not need to smell like harsh chemicals. It can actually be the most elegant and visually stunning centerpiece of your entire container garden. The biological weapon hidden within lavender is a powerful terpene, alcohol known as linalool. Studies conducted by entomologists and published in the Journal of Medical Entomology have demonstrated that linalool has a profound, disruptive effect on the olfactory receptors of many insects. When pests encounter the heavy concentration of linalool evaporating from the purple flowers and silver foliage, their sensory organs are completely overwhelmed. It induces a state of confusion and aversion, forcing them to immediately flee the area to seek out easier, unprotected targets. Cultivating lavender on a balcony requires understanding its Mediterranean origins. It despises sitting in wet soil, making it the perfect candidate for porous terracotta pots equipped with a highly gritty, fast-draining potting mix. By elevating a pot of lavender onto a table or hanging it from a balcony railing, the afternoon sun naturally heats the volatile oils in the leaves, aggressively wafting the insect-repelling linalool throughout your confined outdoor living space. The ultimate bonus of having this scientifically backed pest deterrent is the harvest. Once the vibrant purple spikes have finished standing guard over your balcony, you can clip them, dry them, and bring them indoors to naturally repel moths in your closets, all while enjoying their legendary, stress-relieving aroma. At number 13 is lemon balm, a vigorously growing, shade-tolerant herb that acts as a potent biological barrier for your balcony. One of the most annoying aspects of container gardening is the sudden explosion of fungus gnats and whiteflies that hover around your pots after a heavy summer rain. Lemon balm steps in as a frontline defender. It is remarkably tough, requires very little maintenance, and aggressively emits a scent profile that keeps flying pests away from your vulnerable leafy greens and seeding areas. The science behind lemon balm's pest-repelling capability lies in its rich composition of citronellal, geraniol, and caryophyllene. Research from University Agricultural Extensions confirms that these specific botanical compounds are highly effective at deterring biting insects. However, scientists note a crucial mechanism for balcony gardeners. The plant holds these oils tightly within its leaves. To activate the biological weapon, you simply walk onto your balcony and vigorously rub or crush a few leaves between your fingers. This mechanical action ruptures the cell walls, releasing a massive, concentrated cloud of insect-repelling vapor into the air. This specific activation method makes lemon balm an incredibly interactive container plant. Because it belongs to the mint family, it has a notorious reputation for spreading aggressively like a weed in traditional ground gardens. Therefore, confining it to a medium-sized patio pot is actually the most responsible and effective way to grow it. You can place the pot right next to your balcony chair, allowing you to easily brush against it and release its protective oils whenever pests arrive. As a spectacular bonus, the same volatile oils that chase away gnats and mosquitoes happen to make a phenomenal, stress-reducing herbal tea. You get a scientifically proven bug repellent and a soothing evening beverage from one single, easy-to-grow pot. At number 12 is catnip, a sprawling herb that holds what is arguably the most staggering scientific pest control credential on this entire list. Many urban gardeners battle relentless swarms of aggressive mosquitoes, alongside crop-destroying pests like aphids and squash bugs. While people typically associate catnip strictly with making felines act crazy, in the world of organic container gardening, it is highly respected as a military-grade botanical repellent that outperforms many commercial chemical sprays. The extraordinary power of catnip was officially validated by a landmark study conducted by researchers at Iowa State University. The entomologists discovered that the essential oil in catnip, a compound called nepetalactone, is exceptionally hostile to insects. The researchers concluded that nepetalactone is a staggering 10 times more effective at repelling mosquitoes than DEET, the highly toxic active ingredient used in almost all commercial bug sprays. When grown in a balcony setting, the plant naturally off-gasses this powerful compound, creating a scientifically proven, impenetrable force field around your pots. Because catnip has a naturally sprawling and weeping growth habit, it is an absolutely brilliant choice for vertical balcony gardening. Instead of letting it take up valuable floor space, you can plant it in a suspended hanging basket or a railing planter. As the foliage cascades downward, it disperses the nepentolactone vapor efficiently across your patio, shielding both you and your lower vegetable pots from incoming aerial attacks. By adding catnip to your container layout, you are leveraging decades of university research to protect your skin and your crops organically. And if you happen to own an indoor cat, snipping a few fresh leaves from your balcony fortress will easily make you their favorite person in the world. At number 11, we introduce the Nasturtium, which employs a completely different and utterly fascinating biological strategy to protect your balcony garden. Up to this point, we have looked at plants that push insects away. Nasturtiums do the exact opposite. If you are growing prized, expensive hybrid tomatoes or delicate peppers in your containers, they are constantly at risk of being sucked dry by massive colonies of aphids. Nasturtiums act as the ultimate botanical martyr. They intentionally draw the fire to save your most valuable crops. This method is known in agricultural science as trap cropping. According to research from the Cornell University Cooperative Extension, nasturtiums emit highly specific volatile organic compounds, VOCs, that are irresistible to aphids, flea beetles, and cabbage moths. The plant's chemical signature acts like a massive biological magnet, screaming at the pests to attack it instead of your tomatoes. The insects blindly bypass your food crops and completely colonize the nasturtium leaves, confining the infestation to one easily manageable, sacrificial pot. Implementing this scientific strategy on a small balcony is incredibly space efficient. Nasturtiums do not require deep soil or fertilizer. In fact, they thrive in poor conditions. You can plant them in a shallow, inexpensive hanging basket positioned slightly away from your main vegetable pots. The trailing vines will cascade beautifully, forming a stunning wall of round leaves and bright flowers that quietly absorbs all the pest damage, while your food crops remain flawlessly healthy and untouched. The ultimate irony of this sacrificial trap crop is its culinary brilliance. Before the pests arrive, both the leaves and the vibrant trumpet flowers are entirely edible, offering a sharp, peppery flavor. It is a stunning ornamental, a gourmet salad green, and a scientifically proven biological shield all rolled into one. To be completely honest, the nasturtium's strategy always blows my mind. I'm incredibly impressed by a plant that intentionally sacrifices itself just to protect the rest of the garden. What do you guys think about intentionally attracting pests to a trap crop? Is it a genius move or too risky? Share your thoughts down in the comments. I would love to read your opinions. Now, moving on to number 10, we are looking at a plant that doesn't just trap pests, it literally calls in a microscopic army to destroy them. At number 10 is sweet Alyssum, a delicate, low-growing flower that serves as the ultimate biological calling card for nature's most ruthless predators. If you are growing tomatoes on your balcony, your absolute worst nightmare is the tomato hornworm, a massive, ravenous caterpillar that can strip an entire tomato plant bare in a single night. While you could spend your evenings hunting for them with a flashlight, Sweet Alyssum allows you to completely automate your pest control by hiring microscopic mercenaries to do the dirty work for you. The biological weapon here is not a toxic scent, but rather the highly strategic shape of the flower itself. According to integrated pest management research from the University of California, the tiny, shallow blooms of Sweet Alyssum are the absolute perfect nectar source for braconid wasps. These are microscopic, non-stinging, parasitic wasps that specifically hunt hornworms. By planting Alyssum, you provide the exact fuel these tiny predators need to survive. The wasps will patrol your balcony, find the destructive hornworms, and lay their eggs directly inside the caterpillars, completely neutralizing the threat naturally. In a cramped container garden, Sweet Alyssum is a structural masterpiece. It possesses an incredibly shallow root system, meaning it absolutely will not compete for nutrients or water if planted at the base of your heavy-feeding tomatoes. It acts as a spiller plant, elegantly cascading over the edges of your large pots to soften the look of the container while simultaneously drawing in your microscopic army. As a brilliant bonus, Sweet Alyssum creates a breathtaking aesthetic for any urban space. It produces a dense, cascading carpetissa of tiny white or purple flowers that smell exactly like warm honey, transforming a functional pest control strategy into a fragrant, beautiful balcony centerpiece. At number 9, we have Borage, an absolute powerhouse of companion planting that provides a two-pronged defense system for the urban tomato grower. While Sweet Alyssum brings in the predators to kill caterpillars, Borage works on the front end of the problem by preventing the pests from arriving in the first place. Furthermore, on a high-rise balcony where natural pollinators are scarce, fruiting vegetables often suffer from blossom drop. Borage perfectly solves both the pest issue and the pollination crisis simultaneously. The defensive science of borage is deeply respected in organic agriculture. Studies suggest that the specific volatile organic compounds emitted by the fuzzy leaves of the borage plant act as a severe deterrent to the manduka moth, the exact moth that flies around at night laying hornworm eggs on your tomatoes. But the true magic lies in its nectar production. Research from Michigan State University highlights that borage flowers refill their nectar at an astonishingly rapid rate, making them an irresistible, high-value target for honeybees and bumblebees, ensuring your balcony becomes a highly active pollination zone. To utilize borage effectively in a container layout, you should dedicate a large, sturdy pot to it and place it right next to your vulnerable fruiting vegetables. The plant grows quickly into a robust, bushy shrub with striking, star-shaped blue flowers. Because it grows quite large, keeping it in its own container on the patio prevents it from aggressively outcompeting your tomatoes for root space, while still allowing the protective scent canopy to cover both plants. Beyond its scientifically proven ability to guard and pollinate, borage offers a unique culinary reward. The breathtaking blue flowers are completely edible and possess a crisp, clean flavor that tastes exactly like a fresh cucumber, making them a high-end garnish for your summer salads and iced drinks. At number 8 is Peppermint, a fiercely aggressive herb that provides a lethal scent-based defense against some of the most annoying micropests in the container garden. Balcony gardeners constantly battle invisible armies of spider mites that spin destructive webs over their plants, as well as ants that actively farm and protect aphids on pepper leaves. While chemical sprays can damage delicate foliage, Peppermint deploys a heavy, suffocating blanket of botanical vapor that completely shuts down these invasive colonies. The extreme pest-repelling power of peppermint comes from its massive concentration of menthol. Research published in the Journal of Economic Entomology has demonstrated that menthol vapors are physically toxic to spider mites. Furthermore, the intense, sharp aroma of the menthol acts as a severe chemical disruptor for ants. Ants rely entirely on invisible pheromone trails to navigate your balcony and locate your vegetables. The overpowering scent of peppermint completely erases these trails, leaving the ants blind, confused, and unable to maintain their destructive aphid farms. If you are an urban balcony gardener, peppermint is a plant that was quite literally meant to be grown in a container. In a traditional backyard, mint is notoriously invasive. It will aggressively send out underground runners and completely choke out a garden in a single season. By putting it in a balcony pot, you turn the container into a permanent, highly secure jail. You harness its incredible pest-fighting power without any risk of it taking over your other crops. The multitasking value of this trapped herb is unparalleled. While it aggressively guards your patio against ants and mites, you can continuously harvest the fresh, fragrant leaves all summer long to brew refreshing iced teas or muddle into your evening mojitos. At number 7, we have rosemary, an indestructible, sun-loving Mediterranean shrub that acts as a powerful cloaking device for your most vulnerable autumn and spring crops. When urban gardeners attempt to grow cool-season vegetables in containers like carrots, kale, or cabbage, they are almost immediately targeted by the carrot rust fly and the cabbage moth. These pests are notoriously difficult to spot until the damage is already done. Rosemary stands guard by using its heavy woody aroma to completely hide your vegetables from the enemy's radar. The biological mechanism rosemary uses is known as scent masking, and it is highly documented in agricultural science. The thick, needle-like leaves of the rosemary plant are packed with powerful volatile oils, specifically pinene and camphene. According to research from the Journal of Applied Entomology, pests like the cabbage looper locate their host plants purely by sniffing out the specific chemical signatures of the Brassica family. When you place a pot of rosemary nearby, its intense, piney oils completely overpower the delicate scent of your vegetables, leaving the flying pests completely unable to find their targets. For the harsh environment of an urban balcony, rosemary is a structural survivor. It actively thrives in blazing, reflective heat and prefers to have its roots kept relatively dry. By planting it in a porous terracotta pot on the sunniest, hottest edge of your patio, you force the volatile oils to bake and evaporate into the air, maximizing the protective scent shield while requiring virtually zero maintenance or watering effort from you. As an added bonus, rosemary is one of the most essential culinary herbs in American cooking. You get a scientifically backed, heat-proof botanical cloaking device that simultaneously provides the perfect savory seasoning for your roasted potatoes and grilled steaks. At number 6 is sage, a deeply aromatic, silvery green perennial that serves as an elite bodyguard against one of the most frustrating, visually destructive pests in the container garden. If you have ever walked out to your balcony and found your beautiful spinach, arugula, or eggplant leaves looking like they were blasted by a miniature shotgun, you have been attacked by flea beetles. These tiny, jumping insects can shred delicate foliage in days. Sage offers a potent, long-lasting botanical defense to keep them far away. The scientific defense system of sage relies on a complex cocktail of potent organic compounds, primarily thujone and cineole. Agricultural field trials have repeatedly confirmed that intercropping sage with highly vulnerable leafy greens significantly reduces flea beetle damage. The intensely sharp, slightly medicinal camphor-like aroma off-gassed by the sage leaves acts as a major irritant to the sensory receptors of the beetles. Rather than fighting through the overwhelming scent barrier, the pests simply abandon the area in search of a less heavily guarded food source. In a balcony setting, sage provides magnificent structural and visual contrast. Its soft, velvety, silver-toned leaves stand out beautifully against the bright green foliage of your other potted vegetables. It is highly drought-tolerant and performs exceptionally well in standard, well-draining patio pots. Because it is a tough perennial, it will easily survive the winter in its container, ready to start defending your garden the very moment spring arrives. Beyond its role as a botanical bodyguard, sage is an absolute heavyweight in the kitchen. Having a permanent pest-repellent pot on your balcony guarantees you will always have fresh, earthy flavor ready for making brown butter sauces, roasting poultry, or elevating your holiday stuffing. We have covered plants that mask scents and flowers that summon microscopic wasp armies. But as we enter the top 5, we are looking at the absolute heavyweights of the companion planting world. These are the undisputed champions that utilize sticky traps, sulfur bombs, and underground chemical warfare to ensure your balcony remains a highly fortified, pest-free zone. At number 5, we have thyme, a rugged, trailing herb that provides a devastatingly effective botanical defense against one of the most maddening pests on the urban balcony, the whitefly. For anyone trying to grow tomatoes or peppers in a confined container, whiteflies are a notorious nightmare. They gather in massive, dusty clouds on the undersides of the leaves, sucking the sap and leaving behind a sticky residue that causes destructive, black, sooty mold. Thyme steps in as the ultimate frontline interceptor to stop them before they land. The biological weapon wielded by this tiny herb is a potent, volatile essential oil known as thymol. Extensive research published in the Journal of Pest Science has proven that thymol vapor is highly toxic to soft-bodied insects like whiteflies and severely disrupts their feeding behavior. When the afternoon sun beats down on your balcony, the thyme leaves heat up, releasing a dense, invisible cloud of thymol that acts as an olfactory shield, making the airspace immediately surrounding your pots highly toxic and completely unappealing to whitefly swarms. For container gardening aesthetics, thyme is an absolute structural masterpiece. It is the perfect spiller plant. Because it possesses a very shallow, non-invasive root system, you can easily tuck it into the edges of your large tomato or eggplant containers. It will gracefully cascade over the sides of the pot, softening the harsh edges of your planters while aggressively protecting the vulnerable soil line from incoming pests. Beyond its role as a lethal whitefly deterrent, thyme is a spectacularly versatile culinary herb. It requires very little water, thrives in poor soil, and guarantees that you will always have fresh, earthy flavor on hand for roasting chicken, making marinades, or baking fresh focaccia bread. At number 4 is the petunia, a plant that most American gardeners buy strictly for its overwhelming blast of summer color, completely unaware that it is actually a silent, ruthless botanical assassin. while your balcony may look like a peaceful, vibrant floral display. Hanging a basket of petunias is the biological equivalent of deploying military-grade fly paper. They provide an incredibly effective, completely passive defense system against a massive variety of soft-bodied pests, including aphids, leafhoppers, and the devastating squash bug. The secret to the petunia's lethality has nothing to do with scent masking. It relies entirely on physical trapping. If you look closely at the stems and the undersides of petunia leaves, you will see they are covered in microscopic glandular hairs called trichomes. According to horticultural studies, these trichomes secrete a highly sticky, sap-like resin. When tiny, wind-blown pests like aphids drift onto your balcony and land on the petunia, their legs become instantly glued to the plant. Unable to move or feed, the pests simply starve to death long before they can reach your valuable vegetable crops. This sticky trapping mechanism makes petunias the ultimate protective canopy for a vertical balcony garden. By planting them in hanging baskets suspended directly above your potted vegetables, you create an aerial filtration system. They silently catch and neutralize flying pests before those insects can descend onto the patio floor to ravage your food crops. You get the absolute best of both worlds. A breathtaking, cascading waterfall of pink, purple, and white trumpet flowers that brightens up the bleakest urban architecture, while simultaneously acting as an invisible, sticky graveyard for the garden's most annoying pests. At number 3, we introduce chives, a sleek architectural herb that acts as a specialized chemical deterrent against one of the most destructive summer pests in the United States, the Japanese beetle. If you are attempting to grow patio roses, berries, or delicate greens on your balcony, the midsummer arrival of Japanese beetles can be catastrophic. They swarm in massive numbers, skeletonizing leaves until the plant is completely destroyed. Chives serve as a powerful biological repellent that stops these metallic armored invaders dead in their tracks. The defensive power of chives stems from their intense concentration of sulfur-based compounds, primarily allicin, the exact same chemical that gives garlic its sharp, pungent bite. Research from the USDA Agricultural Research Service has shown that Japanese beetles, along with many species of aphids and carrot rust flies, are highly repelled by the smell of alliums. The volatile sulfur, off-gassed by the chive leaves, essentially burns their sensory receptors, creating an invisible, noxious sulfur cloud that forces the beetles to bypass your balcony and look for easier, sweeter-smelling targets. For the space-conscious container gardener, chives are an absolute dream. They grow in tight, upright, vertical clumps, meaning they consume virtually zero horizontal floor space. You can easily squeeze a small pot of chives in between your large, vulnerable statement plants, or even plant them directly at the base of your potted patio roses to act as a permanent sulfur-emitting bodyguard. The multitasking reward of growing chives is phenomenal. In late spring, they produce beautiful, edible purple globe flowers that attract beneficial pollinators. And throughout the entire summer, you have a continuous supply of mild, onion-flavored greens to instantly elevate your morning omelets, baked potatoes, and fresh sour cream dips. At number 2 is Basil, the undisputed best friend of the urban tomato grower and a legendary heavy hitter in the world of companion planting. Growing tomatoes in a container is a labor of love, but they are constantly under siege by tomato hornworms, whiteflies, and fruit flies, Planting a tomato on your balcony without planting basil right next to it is considered a massive horticultural mistake. Basil provides an incredibly thick, aromatic cloaking device that completely hides your prized harvest from the pests that want to destroy it. The scientific efficacy of basil relies on a complex mixture of potent volatile oils, specifically estragol, linalool, and eugenol. Entomological studies have repeatedly demonstrated that when these highly fragrant oils evaporate into the warm summer air, they severely disrupt the host-finding behavior of destructive moths and flies. The pests fly onto your balcony looking for the distinct, earthy smell of tomato leaves, but the overwhelming, spicy-sweet scent of the basil completely scrambles their radar, leaving your tomatoes hidden in plain sight. Because basil thrives under the exact same watering and intense sunlight conditions as tomatoes, it is the perfect candidate for co-planting. You can plant a bushy basil transplant directly into the same 10-gallon container as your tomato plant. It acts as a dense, living mulch, shading the potting soil to prevent moisture evaporation, while its foliage actively shields the lower tomato stems from incoming aerial attacks. Beyond its scientifically proven ability to guard your crops, agricultural folklore insists that planting basil at the base of a tomato actually improves the flavor of the fruit. Whether that is a biological fact or just gardening magic, having fresh basil right next to your ripening tomatoes means you are always just seconds away from a perfect, homegrown caprese salad. At number 1, taking the crown as the ultimate, undisputed king of pest-repelling companion plants, is the French marigold. If you only have enough space on your balcony to plant one single defensive crop, it absolutely must be the French marigold. This plant is a full-spectrum biological weapon. It doesn't just mask scents or trap bugs on its leaves. It actively engages in underground chemical warfare, protecting your container garden from a devastating, invisible threat that most gardeners don't even know exists. The most powerful biological weapon of the French marigold lies hidden deep within its root system. According to decades of research from universities around the globe, the roots of French marigolds synthesize a highly toxic chemical called alpha-terphenol. As the plant grows, it continuously leaks this chemical directly into your potting soil. This compound is a lethal nematicide. It completely eradicates root knot nematodes, microscopic, parasitic worms that secretly bore into the roots of your tomatoes and peppers, stunting their growth and destroying your harvest from the inside out. Above the soil, the marigold is equally aggressive. The pungent, musky scent of its fern-like foliage contains limonene, which acts as a powerful airborne deterrent against whiteflies, aphids, and the dreaded tomato hornworm. By planting just 1 or 2 small French marigolds at the base of every large vegetable container on your balcony, you create a total lockdown. You eliminate the underground parasites and establish a highly toxic airspace for flying pests simultaneously. French marigolds are compact, incredibly resilient, and bloom profusely from early spring until the first winter frost. They blanket your pots in striking shades of fiery orange, yellow, and mahogany. For the urban gardener demanding maximum protection, brilliant color, and scientifically proven results, the French marigold is the ultimate mandatory bodyguard. Protecting your urban balcony garden doesn't require a hazmat suit or a cabinet full of toxic chemical sprays. By simply understanding the biology of these 15 incredible plants and utilizing the ancient science of companion planting, You can create a beautiful, fragrant, and heavily fortified ecosystem right outside your door. You let nature do the fighting for you. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these botanical bodyguards are you going to hire for your balcony this season? Are you going with the sticky traps of the petunia or the underground warfare of the French marigold? Let me know down in the comments below. If you found this guide helpful and want to learn more ways to master your small space garden, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, keep your gardens organic, keep planting, and I will see you in the next video.